There is an invisible force in your life, an invisible force that is directly controlling what you're creating, what you're attracting, and the result in your life. It is that invisible force that is shaping, literally shaping your entire reality. And unfortunately, most people are completely unaware of what that force is, how it works, how to use it. And so they go about getting what they want, the result that they want, in the wrong way, making it very difficult for them to actually get there. Because this is what we all want. We are all after some form of result. You want to create something, you want to achieve something, you want to get to the next level, you want to make money, whatever it is, right? You either want something more of or something less of, meaning you're trying to get rid of something, someone, or a situation, yeah? And so the default blueprint that life teaches us, right, is that you have to work hard, you have to do something about it, right? If you want to change your result, you got to do something about it. So change your behavior, start new habit, drop your habit, whatever it may be. So the first thing we look at is our behaviors. And we think that, okay, if I can change what I do here, it will directly affect and reflect in my result, right? And it's like this common sense idea that if I change what I do, if I change my habit, it will lead me to my result. And in some cases, absolutely. If you already know what to do and you simply execute, you will see a direct reflection in your result. It's common sense. But how often is it that simple? If you reflect simply in your own life, how often do you know exactly what you need to know and what you need to do and how you need to do it, and you have the perfect strategy, but you procrastinate, you delay, you make excuses, you have doubt, anxiety, and before you know it, there's so much time that goes on. You still didn't do anything about it, or you start to do it, and after a while, you just regress way back just where you started. And so behavior alone is not enough, because again, there's that invisible force that is driving, controlling what you do. So the moment you stop paying attention, boom, you're back doing what you used to do, creating the same old result. So then people go to the next step, the very popular one, and this is that they seek the knowledge. What is it that I need to know that will teach me exactly what I need to do, the skills, the mindset, the behavior, the habit that will create the result that I want, right? So we go, we seek, we buy, we consume, we get hooked on knowledge. And I think our society is striving to that. This is the new drug, right? Everybody is on YouTube, they're buying books and courses and seminars. There's so much information thanks to the internet, thanks to this amazing society that we created online, right? So more than ever, information and knowledge is widely, easily, and cheaply available. And yet, you can know more than you need to know. You can know everything that you need to know about getting the thing or doing the thing. And yet, for most people, they're still not getting anywhere near what they want. And sometimes your situation do improve, but you're still not getting exactly what you want, even though you've spent so much time, so much money, so much resources, you know so much, you're watching content and videos and books and things every single day. You feel like you're progressing, but your life is not reflecting the amount of inner work you put on yourself. That means there's something wrong. And that means that, again, that invincible force is still controlling your life and your result and how much of that knowledge you use. You see, for years, I was stuck here. I was stuck here spending thousands of dollars on, Tony Robbins and NLP and hypnotherapy and coaches and courses and books and you name it. I was all in my personal development. I knew everything I need to know. I was, surrounded by all that knowledge. My life was improving, right? But I felt like there was a ceiling. I felt like I was nowhere near I wanted to go. I was nowhere near reflecting the amount of investment I made, the amount of time I made, the amount of personal growth and inner work I put in myself. My life was simply not reflecting that. And so this is where I had the breakthrough about what that invisible force is, and that was the game changer. But I want you to realize that the knowledge gap here can be a big trap. A trap of comfort, because you read a book, you're getting the knowledge and so on, and you get a fake sense of progress. You get a fake sense of high, like I'm doing something. And a lot of people end up in the comfort zone of seeking knowledge, buying courses, and doing all those things because it's safe, because it's easy, because they don't need to step out of their comfort zone, they don't need to face their fears, and they just remain stuck here. So be very mindful that knowledge alone, if you've been consuming too much content, it is a red flag that something needs to change and that you need to wake up, because the knowledge here is not the answer you've been seeking. So what is that invisible force then? This is what I often refer to on this channel, the identity, or sometimes I call it the self-image, but it means the same exact thing, the identity that you have created in your life from the moment you were born, with all the programming, the social conditioning, your experiences, all the ideas, the beliefs, the thoughts, the perceptions, how your whole life has created a form of personality that is known as you, that defines you, that created that identity and that way of being, that goes on creating the life that you have. Your identity has brought you exactly where you are today, living the life that you have. And this is the first thing to realize, is that my current identity, how I see myself and how I perceive the world, through my perception, through my projection, through my whole internal world, is the cause of the result that I want. And remember that we have a strong, deep need to remain consistent with the way we see ourselves. So you can read all the freaking books you want, you can buy all the courses and seminars and so on, as long as you keep relating to yourself in the same old way, you will keep on creating the results that are aligned with your current identity. And that is so important to understand. And this is why a lot of people know exactly what they need to do. They have all the knowledge they need, and they're still not getting the result because their identity in the process has not changed. They still see themselves in the same way. They still have the same sense of worthiness. They still think of themselves being limited or being in a certain way, or they see the world in a certain place, right? I used to think the world was a tough, disgusting, nasty place that will knock you down every chance you get. That's the idea I got from all the Rambo movie and all this crap movie that we see growing up, right? You feel like, oh my God, life is tough. You gotta fight, you gotta hustle, it's difficult. The road to success is extremely difficult. That is the idea I got when I was growing up. This is the idea I got from my parents working multiple jobs. This is the idea I always got, is that success is very difficult. You gotta deserve it. Unfortunately for me, my own identity, my sense of self-worth, my sense of self-belief, how I was seeing myself, was extremely limited. And so I was the only reason why I was keeping myself away from the result that I wanted. So for years I was spending all that money getting the knowledge, getting the tools, getting the things in order to get the result. But I was never really transcending those old beliefs, those old limitations, those old ways of perceiving myself. I never asked myself, when did I decide this is who I am and what I am and what I deserve and what I need to do in order to deserve those things and what I need to do in order to feel worthy and good enough about myself. And so because of that deep sense of insecurity and unworthiness that I had, that for so long I wasn't aware of, I was keep on creating results in my life, attracting people and situations that kept on making me feel not good enough, falling short. And that kept on letting me to seek more success, to seek more validation and approval from others. And so it was like a chase that never stopped, because all along that identity was driving my life. And so the moment I broke through those old conditioning that I created along the way, and I reconditioned my mind to reflect what I want, so I became a reflection of the result of the life I wanted, progressively everything started to change. And I see that with all my clients. With my clients, this is what I do. We go and we look at the sense of identity that they have, and we look at how their current identity is creating the result, and then we deconstruct everything in order to reinvent themselves, to re-engineer who they are, who they need to be, how they need to see themselves, how they need to believe and interact with the world in order to be able to have the behavior, use the knowledge that they have, the talents and ability, and to believe in the visions that they set for themselves. And I can tell you the results are phenomenal. I had a client that told me, I have two problems. I'm fat and ugly. So you could see the person was overweight, but where did the ugliness come from? You see, the identity was that I'm not attractive, I'm ugly, people don't like me. And that idea simply grew up as a kid, and through all form of experiences, grew up in being a strong piece of identity. And so how does that identity shape a person's behavior, a person's way of taking care of themselves, how they relate to other people, how they think other people perceive them, and ultimately what they shape in their life? And so the moment you start to undo that belief and you start to create self-love and you start to see yourself in a loving, attractive way, you start to accept your body and you start to realign with the life that you want, and you start to then exhibit those behavior, it's a game changer. Because the moment you become worthy, the moment you start loving yourself, the moment you start feeling attractive and treat yourself in a desirable way, your life and the world starts to respond, because life is simply a mirror echoing who and how you see yourself, your state of being, and all the programs you've created along the way. Now, the main challenge is that to become aware of your identity requires digging deep inside your subconscious mind, because the deeper you go down here, the more subconscious all of this becomes. It's very easy to have knowledge about your behavior and your result because it's right around you. Just take a look. But to really go deep into your core belief, into the core experiences, into those emotions you've repressed and those parts of you you've denied that have shaped who you are today over time, requires some time, requires some deep diving into the fabric, into the blueprint of who you are, and deconstruct that and start to create something new from there. And so I want to invite you to start reflecting on that invisible force shaping your life. First, start looking at your result, because your result, where you are in life, doesn't lie. It shows you how you see yourself and how you perceive the world. And as long as this is there, as long as you believe in that, as long as that pollutes your mind and keeps on being, what you believe and how you see the world, I guarantee you that the result will persist. So the best way to make the subconscious conscious is to first start looking at your result, then start looking at your behavior, and then start going down and start looking into the belief system, into what you know to be true about yourself, how you see yourself, how you value yourself, all these type of things. And piece by piece, you will start to become aware of the core beliefs, the core aspect and perception that shapes you. And the moment you start to work and break those old limiting beliefs or programs that have been holding you back, you start using that invisible power to create something that you want. And so I hope this makes sense, guys, because the invisible force will keep on shaping your life until you make it visible, until you work with it, until you become intentional with it. And when you create an identity, a way of seeing yourself that reflects the life you want to have and create, you will see how everything will start realigning itself. Let me know what you think down in the comment, guys. If you have any questions, write them down. I will see you in my next video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'll see you next time. Be well.